A leopard's jaw closes around a human skull, not in a nightmare. In a cave in South Africa, where archaeologists found puncture marks that match a leopard's canine teeth perfectly, someone survived that exact bite. Their skull healed, which means for a moment they were already dead in every way that mattered, except one. The site is called Swartkrans, and it sits in a valley in South Africa now known as the cradle of humankind. In the 1960s, paleoanthropologist C.K. Brain examined thousands of bones pulled from the cave, expecting to find evidence of early humans as hunters. Instead, he found something almost the opposite: deep, precisely spaced puncture wounds in ancient hominin skulls, wounds that didn't match any human weapon. He tested the spacing against the jaws of modern predators. Leopard canines fit perfectly. For hundreds of thousands of years in that valley, humans weren't always the hunters. Sometimes they were dinner. But here's the detail that changes everything about this story. Not every skull at Swartkrans showed a killing bite. Some showed something stranger: bone that had cracked under an animal's jaw and then healed. Healing means survival. It means someone was bitten by an apex predator strong enough to puncture solid bone and lived long enough afterward for that bone to knit itself back together, which raises an obvious, uncomfortable question. How? Start with the attack itself, because the biology of it is more brutal than most people imagine. A leopard's bite force is roughly 300 pounds per square inch, concentrated into 4 narrow points. It's not designed to wound, it's designed to crush the skull and sever the spinal cord in a single motion, killing prey almost instantly. Most of the time, that's exactly what happened. The bones with clean killing bites at Swartkrans tell that story. But survival meant the attack went wrong somehow. The angle was off. The victim moved at the exact moment the jaw closed. The bite landed on thicker bone instead of the base of the skull. A few centimeters in either direction was the entire difference between the fossils that healed and the ones that didn't. Now think about what happened in the seconds after that. You're bleeding from deep puncture wounds to your head. You may be partially blinded by blood. Your skull, the bone protecting your brain, has been fractured. There is no doctor, no stitches, no antibiotics. Infection at this point should have killed you within days if the initial trauma didn't kill you first. And yet the bone healed. Paleopathologists studying skeletal trauma across multiple prehistoric sites have found a pattern that helps explain this. Survivable predator attacks tend to cluster around individuals who weren't alone when it happened. Wounds consistent with a group dragging an unconscious person to safety. Evidence of prolonged recovery periods, weeks or months, during which someone who couldn't hunt, gather, or even walk was still being fed. The survival wasn't really about the attack, it was about what happened after, when an injured, half-conscious person needed other humans to keep them alive long enough for their body to do the actual healing. There's a second location that adds even more to this picture. At Sturkfontein, another cave in the same valley, researchers found similar evidence. Ancient hominin remains showing signs of predator attacks by big cats, alongside remains that appeared to have been actively dragged into cave systems by the predators themselves as stored food, a common behavior among modern leopards, which means the same valley holds evidence of both outcomes: individuals taken as prey and individuals who were bitten and somehow brought back from the edge of it. So picture the actual moment, not as a statistic, but as something that happened to a real person. You're moving through tall grass at dusk, the worst possible time, when predators can see you and you can barely see them. There's a blur of motion, weight slams into you, pain you don't have time to process because your vision is already going dark. Then, nothing. You wake up later, somewhere else, your head wrapped or packed with whatever your group had, in pain beyond anything modern people typically experience, because there was no way to dull it, and someone stayed. Here's what should genuinely surprise you about this. This wasn't rare enough to be dismissed as a fluke. Multiple healed, predator-related injuries have been documented across different hominin fossil sites, spanning different time periods and even different early human species, which means this specific scenario, being attacked by something built to kill you instantly and somehow surviving anyway, happened often enough to leave a repeated pattern in the fossil record. Not once, not by luck alone, enough times that we can study it as a pattern. So what does this actually tell us, beyond the archaeology itself? It means the story of early humans as dominant hunters standing confidently at the top of the food chain is incomplete. For a significant stretch of our history, we were prey too, vulnerable to animals stronger, faster, and better equipped to kill than we were. And the individuals who survived those attacks didn't survive because they were tougher or luckier in isolation. They survived because someone else carried them, fed them, waited day after day for bone to heal that had no guarantee of healing at all. The next time you think about what kept early humans alive, don't only picture the spear or the fire or the tool. Picture the healed skull in a cave in South Africa. Picture the group that didn't leave. That single fact, cracked bone that had time to mend, is proof that survival was never really an individual achievement. It was something other people did for you when you couldn't do anything for yourself.